Hello fellow human, welcome back to another r/choosingBeggar videos. Our first story is posted by u/mortzm. Pay for my groceries. I want to say this is my first run-in with this woman. It isn't, but it is my first run-in with her since I found this board. I was in a Tesco, the Glasgow era. The store has these machines that you take around the shop, scan and bag the items as you pick them up, and pay once you're finished your shop. It saves time scanning and bagging at the registers. I was at the register with a runsack full of groceries. I see this woman with two young children sitting in her trolley. Her trolley is full. Easily a fortnight's worth of expensive snacks and other food, most of which I couldn't even justify buying for myself. I've seen her before, so I know her shtick. She's Roma, which I know because I have Romani family, visibly not from the UK. In the past, she has pulled up to the register next to me, pretended to try and pay for her hoard, and when she can't pay, she returned in broken English and asked me to pay for groceries with a smile and nod towards her kids, both under 5 years old by the looks of it. She just pulled up next to me, just as I had paid, and was still adjusting my bag when she tapped my shoulder. I rolled my eyes and looked at a shop assistant, and the look he gave me confirmed my suspicions. This is a common occurrence. I say hi to the lady, and she says, "Hello, can't pay today, can you?" and point to the card reader. The first time I came across her, I felt genuinely bad. An immigrant mother with two kids, things are bound to be tight. However, even the first time, her trolley was full of luxury foods and snacks. Pretty insulting when I have a runsack full of canned beans and frozen veggies. But this time, it really did annoy me. I'm flat broke and often have to borrow money from people to eat. I know how poor people shop for food, and it isn't by filling a large trolley with expensive meats and luxury snack foods. If someone gave me £10, I wouldn't spend it on 3 snacks. I'd buy veggies and pasta and enough food to last a week. I was grumpy, tired, and honestly pretty offended. I just said no and left, despite really wanting to confront her. She had a heavy accent and gave a few weak pleas as I walked away, but didn't follow me more than a few steps. She turned back to her shopping, probably to wait someone more pliable. Relying on your ethnicity and children to try to get strangers to pay for a shop that is easily over £150 is darn ballsy. I don't even have that much money after rent, damn it! Well, you should pick an item out of a cart and pay for it for yourself. Pick it up, ring it up, and walk out the door with it. That's how you deal with a choosing beggar. On to the next story by the Cult of Chaos. Karen tries to take my seat. I fly somewhat often for work, sometimes a few times a month. I'm usually heading to New York City and usually flying Delta. My company has a promotion with Delta where we can get status fairly quickly as a perk for joining the company. So I go from nothing to silver and finally gold pretty quickly. My flight home out of LGA gets delayed, mostly because every flight leaving LGA gets delayed. So I hear the announcement that they are likely not going to have a crew to man the flight until 9 p.m. It's about 6, so I head off to find some crappy airport food. Then, just as my food is arriving, I catch an announcement for the final boarding for my flight. Great! I abandoned my table, paid for dinner, hadn't received it yet, and yeet off to the gate. Turns out, I'm not the only one who was confused, but they get on a bus to take us on a plane. So, with my status, often get free upgrades, which is cool as hell. And on this flight, I got what I refer to as firster class. The little single seat in the very front of the first class, the good old 1A. So I board and there's a woman in my seat, glass of wine in hand. Me, I think you're in my seat, my boarding pass says 1A. K as in Karen. Whoops, you weren't here, you can have my seat. I know how this is going to go. Me, no worries, which of the other first class seats is yours? K, oh, it's not. I was in 22B. So on these little regional jets, 22Bs is usually in the aisle and in a very black right next to the restroom. Me, okay, I'm gonna want my seat back then. K, I'm already buckled in. It's a short flight. Be a dear. She doesn't know I got the upgrade for free, and that's besides the point. Me, sorry, no, I'd like my seat. Karen, Don't be annoying or something like that. I can't remember. I'm not moving. Me, just take the free drinks and head back to your seat. You're holding up everyone else boarding. Karen, just take the seat in the back. You are holding up everyone else boarding. I tell the flight attendant. He just signs like he deals with this crap all the time and tells her to move to her assigned seat or they'll have to remove her from the plane. So she moves while grumbling the whole time, and I settle in and have a vodka and cran. I see this often enough with people being picky about seats that aren't theirs, but a first for me personally. Hey buddy, you paid for a seat and have a seat number, so go and sit in it. On to the next story shared by you/Dragon with Tits. CB at work is mad I'm not buying her something for my birthday. So my mom and I share birthday, a little unusual I know, but apparently I just had to be several weeks early, and this is going to be the first time we celebrate together since I was a kid for many personal reasons. And with this being a first in years for us, and the first time since I've been old enough to work and earn money, I wanted to do something nice for her, and ordered a gorgeous bouquet for her since I know she adores flowers. The thing is, I suck at surprises because I love seeing the happiness as quickly as possible, a shared trait since she bought something for me as well, and I already know what it is. And the flowers won't arrive until tomorrow, so instead of showing mom, I showed the girl I'm close with at work. A trainee, our CB in my area, walked by and noticed that I was showing, and I explained who they were for and when they'd arrive, and she expressed confusion because my birthday is marked in the calendar in a work area, so she asked why I'm giving someone else a present on my birthday. I explained that my mom and I share a birthday, and that's why I thought she understood. She seemed to make a joke about when hers would arrive, and the three of us laughed and went back to work. A few hours later, I'm packing up for the day, cleaning my bakery and getting ready to head home, and CB walks in with her phone. Not allowed to use in the kitchen, but everything is put up already, and I'm in the process of cleaning, so I don't say anything. And shows me a lovely bouquet of flowers, 2 dozens of long stem roses, and some Godiva chocolates. I comment on how pretty they are, assuming she was showing me something her husband was getting for her V-Day. Nope. CB, aren't they pretty? They're only like very cheap. I don't remember how much, but well over $100. Yeah, they're gorgeous. I love roses, so I usually prefer yellow or pink one myself. I kept cleaning while she puts her phone away and is watching me. CB, well, are you going to get them? At this point, I figured that she thought I hadn't ordered the bouquet and was trying to help me figure out what to get for my mom, so I explained that I had already ordered some flowers and they would be delivered on Monday. Here she seems to get pissy and huff a little. CB, how do you know I'll like them? This kinda made me stop and realize that she thought I was ordering flowers for her too, and it really kinda pissed me off. Why do I care if you like them? I ordered the flowers for my mom, not you. CB, yeah, but you said you shared your birthday with her, so I thought you could share with me too. We share birthday as we literally have the same birthday. She's getting flowers for her birthday. Anyway, I don't need to get you anything for yours, and you're definitely not getting an expensive present for you, even if I do want to get a gift for you. CB started how rude it was to show off my wealth. What? I make as much as she does, and unlike her, I don't live in Section 8 housing and receive food stamps. And how unfair it was that her own daughter couldn't buy anything nice for her Valentine's Day because she's 10 and her own husband doesn't like to celebrate. I ignored her and told my friend about what she said on my way out and came home for the weekend. It's not a huge deal, but it did annoy me that she not only demanded a gift for me for my birthday, but also picked out a ridiculously expensive one at that, and had the nerve to call me rude for being excited about my mom's present. Well, CB like these really make me question some people's upbringings. How the hell does someone get like that? And next up, we have a story by Francos de Rivia. Man refused to sit next to his wife and wanted my seat. After a recent spate of airline choosing beggar stories, I thought I would add in my own to the mix. My mother lives in the country, in Australia, and I live in Sydney. I don't get fly down as much as I would like, given the cost of flying the smaller proper planes at my work. I did, however, have 2 weeks off over the year holiday period and arranged to fly down. I've taken this flight, or at least half a dozen occasions since she moved in, and I know it well. I know the planes well, and I know where I'd like to sit. I generally sit in the one-seat row on the left-hand side of the plane as opposed to being on one of the two right-hand seats. I get to look out a window and I don't need to sit next to anyone. It's nice when I'm by myself. Come to this fateful day on the 22nd of December 2018. I'm out at the airport and we were driven out in the bus on the plane to the tarmac. I was among the last to disembark the bus and I was sitting near the back. When I climb up to the steps and board the plane, most of the other passengers have taken their seats. I go a few rows down the aisle and notice a scruffy man in his mid-40s and is sitting in my single seat. The exchange occurs to this effect. Me, I'm sorry to bother you, but I think you may be sitting in the wrong seat. CB, no, I'm in the right seat. Looks back down at his mobile phone. Me, I don't think so. This is my ticket here. I show him the ticket. CB, yeah, okay, right. My seat is back there. You sit in it. Me, no thank you. This is my seat that I paid for. CB, look, my wife is back there and I don't want to sit next to her. We had an argument and I want to have an hour of peace and quiet. You just sit there. At this point, I'm still quite surprised with all this and I do not know what to do. Me, I'm sorry, no. I do not want to be sit next to your wife, nor do I want to sit in an aisle seat. I wish to sit in my window seats that you should not be sitting in. Now, the flight attendant, the FA, comes down from the front of the plane. FA, what is the matter, sir? Me, I want to sit in the seat that I purchased. This man does not wish to move despite his wife and ticket being that seat there. Points to the empty seat next to the woman, frowning at us. CB, my wife and I aren't speaking and I want to be alone. We're going to visit my sons for Christmas and we don't want to be in a bad mood. FA, I'm sorry, sir, but you must sit in your assigned seat. Please let this gentleman sit in his seat. The CB reluctantly and slowly gets up, picks up his bag, and takes his seat next to his wife. About halfway through the flight, I look back, hoping to get the FA's attention for some water, and I catch a glimpse of CB giving a massive death stare. TLDR, passenger on the same flight as me wanted my superior seat so he didn't have to sit next to his wife with, which he had been arguing shortly before the flight. Oh, I'm sorry, for a second you must have assumed that I cared about your personal issues with your wife, who I also never met. What a joke! On to the next story shared by u/FrannyFran51. Was given a free bike and CB calls me selfish for not giving it up to her instead. I'm driving through the town and see some people setting boxes and furniture on the sidewalk. I pull over and ask if they're selling this stuff, to which this woman replied that she was cleaning out the attic and putting everything out for free. Score! So I'm shifting through and having a nice chat with the lady and her husband. She wheels out a bicycle in a great condition and asks if I want it as well. I ask if he's sure and he insists that I can have it for free. This is great news because my boyfriend had just had his second bike stolen and was pretty bummed up about it. It was too big to fit in my car, so I call my boyfriend and tell him to bring him back his truck. We only live about 10 blocks away. While I'm waiting for him, a woman who is on a jog comes by and starts looking at the bike. She asked me if all this stuff is free and I responded, yes, but I've already claimed the bike. She keeps looking at it and gets on it to feel it out. I'm literally holding the handles and looking at her like, WTF are you doing? The owners had gone back inside before this started. CB, wow, I could really use a new bike. Me, well, the owner handed this to me directly and my boyfriend is on the way to pick up with his truck. CB, I really need this bike though. You have a car and you clearly don't need a bike. Me, well, it's for my boyfriend and he just has his bike stolen and I'm sorry I already claimed it. The owner personally handed it to me. I'm sorry. CB, you have a car and your boyfriend has a truck. I don't have a car. I obviously need this more than you do. Me, I don't know what to tell you. I've been here for 20 minutes chatting with the owners. I'm sorry that you didn't get here before me. She starts to pull more sob story and getting very emotional. Now, before you start feeling sorry for CB, let me describe her. She was holding a freaking iPhone X with AirPods hanging on her ears. Can you believe that? Her entire outfit, top to bottom, was Lululemon, very expensive, and wearing brand new Nike running shoes. Her hair had been clearly lightened and highlighted, which is an expensive habit. She had a fake tip nails. I saw the house where she came out before the jog, and this definitely was not in the slum. She finally walked away, but not before giving me an educational piece of her mind about how selfish I am, and then I walked down the street announcing to everyone that she passed there is a free bike over there. After typing it out, it seems trivial, but it really made my blood boil while it was happening. Was I being over the top or she was being a CB? Nah, you were there first. Doesn't matter what vehicles you or she had. The sense of entitlement is deciding the factor to me, personally. There's no way after saying that she's more deserving, I'd even more slightly consider giving it up. So, let's move on to the last story shared by /Scream and Gobble. Raising money, but not like that. CB Moms arrives at work and makes it a point to mention that her college student daughter is raising money for an international trip. This trip is being organized through the college, and while it no doubt would have some educational value, it is not part of any particular program and offers no college credit. Basically, it's guided towards spring break mashup. Her coworkers are not receptive to her hints. Many of them are single parents and would be classified as working poor. They have, at best, a high school education. Furthermore, their children who had been in college are in college, because college is an expensive luxury, something for other people's kids. Her implied request would die a quiet death if not for the enabler supervisors, coincidentally a relative of CB's mom, who announces to group as a whole that this would be a lovely cause for them to take up. Enabler supervisors can't actually force anyone to donate. HR would have something to say about that, but she does apply some uncomfortable pleasure, and while no one offers to pledge any money, there also isn't anyone willing to speak up. Well, except Mary. Mary is an older lady, very nice. She often seems a bit absent-minded, but she has that skill, which only certain southern women seem to possess, an ability to sweetly point out the follies of out of orders. Mary doesn't say anything immediately, instead she just goes to work, occasionally pausing to jot down some notes. Break time comes. Nearly everyone is present, minus enabler supervisors. Many approaches CB's mom and hands her a sheet of paper. What is this? CB's moms ask. It's for your daughter. I made a list of chores my husband and I need to have this done. See, we have got a small shed that needs to be painted. It would probably just take her a few hours, and we could pay her like $50. I don't know she'd know how to paint, CB's mom says, uncomfortably. Pleasantly, Mary points out the other jobs on the list. Moving, wedding, assorted household tasks, each with a fair if not gorgeous compensation. By this point, everyone is watching the exchange with interest. Finally, CB's mom says, she's really busy with school and everything. This was nice of you, but I don't think she has time for any of this. Wide-eyed, Mary says. Oh, I thought you said she was trying to raise money. CB Mom quickly decides that she needs to use the restroom. No donations are made, and the subject never comes up again. Well, whoever that old lady is, she's freaking awesome. That's it for today, fellow humans. Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.